All right. Hey guys, Brad here at Elliott Wave Made Simple. Why am I smiling so much? Because silver may have bottomed today in a meaningful way. Let's dive into the chart, and I'm going to take this opportunity to actually teach a few things about Elliott Wave. I'm going to show you how I'm making these measurements, and there's a bunch of really good opportunities for you guys to learn how to make your own Elliott wave charts, or at least understand what you are looking at when you see my Elliott wave charts. And by watching me take some measurements and put on some labels, my hope is that you'll understand a little bit more about how to use Elliott wave, and you'll start to see the efficacy of using Elliott wave to show you where the parameters are, so you can take positions with a little more understanding of market structure. Okay, let's dive into the chart. All right, so here we are looking at a 13-minute chart. This is the same chart I've been doing videos on for a minute now. And what I want to show you today is how I'm measuring things when it moves in threes. So if you see this high from Monday night, I was looking for a three-wave move to finish off what I thought was either a wave 4 or the beginnings of a wave 2. Now, I didn't know this at the time, right? Because I needed more price information to unfold. Once this came down in 3 waves, I measured for it. Now, let me show you how I measured for it. I'm using the tool called Fib Projection Trend-Based Fib Extension. I'm in TradingView. And actually, let me see if I can enlarge this a little bit here. Actually, let me get it right, because I know a lot of you guys are on phones. So let me just kind of zoom in into this area of the high from Monday night. I'm talking about this high right here of 28.13 cents from Monday night. Okay, we got a 3-wave move down. So I grab the Fib trend-based Fib extension tool, which gives you 3 clicks, and I turn on my magnet over here on the left side of TradingView. And I put the first click at the swing high. Now this is a swing low. Put the second click at the swing low, and then put the third click on the next swing high, which is 27,955. And then I've got a preset template for A equals C. Now, A equals C just simply means if this is an A wave, wherever the B wave terminates from, this template is going to show me where the 100 fib is located. Now, what that means is however long this A wave is. So first click, top of the swing high. Second click, bottom of a swing low. Third click, next swing high. And because I'm setting this to a template called A equals C, it's projecting the 100 level. Now, in this case, what that means is this C wave was nearly exactly 100% the length of the A wave. That's why in Elliott wave terms, we call this A equals C. Now, what I like to do is turn off the magnet, 27,955, and I like to move this over a bit, 27,955, because I don't want my chart to be so cluttered and messy that I can't even read my own chart. Now, wherever you've clicked, like in this case, I want to move this over so I can have this yellow line move over, because all I want to do is remind myself where the 100 fib is. So I look over here on the right side in TradingView, you can see these 3 blue price points. Those are the 3 clicks that I made on the projection tool. So I'm now going to note that that's 27,695. So I'm going to move this over 27,695. And I've turned off the magnet, so when I move these levels, the thing won't go crazy. Because if you don't turn off the magnet, you're going to move it and it's going to jump all over the place. If that happens, just let go And depending on what kind of computer you're on, click the undo button. It'll snap the price right back to where it was, so you can turn off the magnet, take a note of the price, and move the line over. So now I didn't know that this was going to be A equals C, but because it literally struck the 100 fib to the penny and started bouncing, I said, okay, so I'm going to label it A, B, C. Now, there's more to consider about the degrees when you're doing uh, ABCs, ABC moves, but I'm not going to get too much into that for the purposes of this video. I really just want you to understand the measurements. Oops, and I see now I did that backwards. So this, sorry, trying to talk. I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, apparently. So here we have a three-wave move, ABC, and I'm just going to lower the degree because this could be a micro degree, but it doesn't really matter for our purposes. I really just want to show you the measurements and how we conclude what label to put on a measurement. So this measured very well as an A equals C. Now, it's worth noting on the same topic of A equals C, C waves can extend. So I have another template called A equals C extension. And the typical extension for a C wave is the 1, 2, 3, 6 and the 1, 3, 8, 2. You may notice I always use yellow for ABC corrections, and I also use yellow fibs. So I'm very consistent with that, just so I don't confuse myself. So when I see yellow markings on my chart, I know it's in threes, and it's almost always in ABC with a few exceptions. And if this hadn't finished moving down yet, sometimes I just put the extensions on here because I don't know where it's going to stop. I don't know the future. Maybe it's going to stop at 100. Maybe it's going to come down here. Maybe it's going to keep going. But all of this action in here gives me very good clues if you understand Elliott wave. So in this case, it's an ABC. So the next idea is maybe as price is unfolding here, maybe this is the low, and we are going to get an impulse up and finally out of here. This is a very important zone up here. The actual line in the sand is 2808. And what's remarkable to me is that this level has nothing but wicks above it, which is partly what allowed me to stay short. I do not like to be short metals. It's very dangerous. I survived being short over here, and I actually added shorts. This was a fairly epic trade for me because it came all the way down in here. I started taking it off here, and I took the rest off down here. Epic trade. But I'm just noting for you guys that when you see a bunch of wicks into a zone, that's a clue of sort. There was no candle close in this zone. I like to see a 1 hour candle close above important zones, because getting a 1 hour candle close above a important zone is a wonderful clue. So here we have three waves. So my next thought is, okay, so is this building out the next impulse? Is this level 2750, just call it 2750, is that the low? Well, I wouldn't know that. How would I ever? I don't even know that now. I don't know. So what I do is I measure. So I'm going to use the same fib extension tool. I'm going to turn my magnet back on, and now I'm going to measure for a 1, 2 to see where it projects to. Because if this high right here is wave 1, and if this 3-wave pullback is wave 2, this should follow the fib levels for a 5-wave impulse. So now I'm going to go back to my trusty templates, and I'm going to select pinball, standard pinball. Where I learned to do Elliott wave, we affectionately call all the fibs Fibonacci pinball, because at its best, price likes to bounce around these exact levels, which gives you a wonderful clue and some feedback from the structure of price as to know what is more likely coming next. So 2756 is this level. I want to drag this over because really what I'm measuring for is where does this wave terminate? Now, when I put these tools on here, this price wave here is still unfolding. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future. In fact, this is an important point to note about Elliott wave. I know sometimes if you guys are watching my charts, I can tell from some of the questions that I get occasionally that people think Elliott Wave is a treasure map. Or people think if you've only watched a few of my charts and you got lucky to only watch the charts when they work out, you're thinking, oh my God, Elliott Wave, finally a silver bullet, the Holy Grail, the Magic Kingdom. I'm going to be rich. No. Elliott Wave is presenting parameters, not predictions. So when I put Fibonacci structure on my chart, I'm not saying I know price is going to go to the 1618, for example, but I want to know that if price does go to the 1618, first of all, I want to know about it. And second of all, I want to see what kind of reaction does price have at that level? Does it exceed it? Does it stop right at it to the penny and reverse? These are fantastic parameters to understand. That's why I'm taking my time to actually teach you this and not just show you a chart. All right, let's get back to the chart. So I've got the fib set up for this being a 1-2 potentially. 26,565 is that low. So I'm going to drag this over. Price comes right up to the 1618. And it's from here that I want to get my next clue. And my next clue is going to be, well, if price creates a 1, 2, in other words, it does not make a new low, and then reverses, and then starts making a series of higher highs, okay, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and then it gets very near the 168 and reverses, I'm going to measure for a wave 4 because what I want to see is a 5-wave impulse higher. So this setup was excellent. A safe way to play Elliott Wave is wait for a 5-wave setup to follow through and prove that it's 5 up. Now, if you're scalping, there's tons of money in these waves, all kinds of scalping opportunities. What I'm talking about for Elliott Waves is to try to show you how you can have a runner on and swing for the fences. So here is an important parameter. If this is a 1, 2, 3 right into the 618, the next thing that should happen is a wave 4. So I turn on my magnet. I go to here's how you measure for a wave 4. You go to the bottom of wave 2. Now I'm using a different tool, by the way. I'm now going to use fib retracement tool, which only gives you 2 clicks. I'm going to click on the swing low, what we were thinking of as wave 2. And I'm going to put the second click at the top of the swing high, which we are speculating at this time that it was a wave 3. And that is 2807, which ironically was exactly my line in the sand. So now I'm going to turn off the magnet, which I already did. I'm going to drag this over because what I was really looking for is where might wave 4 catch support and then reverse, giving us a 5th wave. So here is the top of wave 1, which is no coincidence that this is a demand zone that comes right on through here. Look how many touches this zone had. This zone is from the past. It kind of crisscrossed it here, but it touched it there, it touched it there, touched it there. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now crisscrossed it here, crisscrossed it there. 7, 8, 9. Amazing. So that's why I drag these levels over. They're supply demand zones. I'm using Armando's technique of trying to identify structure levels. You follow Armando for that stuff. By the way, if you're watching this video and you're wondering who Armando is, he runs a group called The Professor Trades. It's a private trading club for less than $1 a day. You're going to get your mind blown, especially if you already have some experience and you're working on consistency and you know you have challenges with your mindset. The link is in this video. Go click it, take the trial 7 days for $7. The link's in the description of this video. Armando, the Professor Trades, highly recommend. His method is so simple and elegant for scalping. You're going to fix whatever's ailing your psychology. I promise you. if you go join the club, if you've ever blown up an account or blown up 2 counts, or if you ever let winners turn into losers, or if you've been moving your stop and getting chopped up, or if you, every time you think you stop out and then price finally goes where you thought it would go, if those things have happened to you consistently and you're frustrated, you got to join Armando in the club. He's a master of psychology. Okay, back to the chart. So wave 4, price comes down. Not only does it keep going, it gets below the level of wave 1. Wave 4 may not. This is one of the few rules of Elliott wave. Wave 4 may not enter the price territory of the top of wave 1. I mean, if it does, it ain't a wave 4 anymore. So I just showed you that's not a wave 4. So what is it? Well, I don't know. Let's wait for the next bounce. There's no structure to this wave, really. It's just straight down. Then it started bouncing. Well, guess what? I'm going to play the same game again. Is this a 1-2? Is this a 1-2? Is what is going on here? ABC is what is going on here? Is this a big, this is not an impulse, right? We know this is not an impulse because it wrecked the wave 4 and it came down here and bounced again. So you can measure this as a 1-2. All right. Let's do it again. Let's turn the magnet on. There's the bottom. There's the swing low. There's the swing high for what might be a wave 1. And here's the next swing low, which might be a wave 2. Now, what's interesting here is here it comes up. I'm going to turn off the magnet. I want to drag this over so I don't confuse the issue here with those other fibs. Price comes up. 1, 2. This really isn't deep enough for a wave 4. This really isn't deep enough for a wave 4. So I don't like this as a wave 4. So maybe this is the one. So move it up to the next swing high and move this to the next swing low and see where price interacts with these fibs. Okay, so maybe this is 1, 2. Look, it nearly hit the 618 with a wick, very reminiscent of what we just measured over here. And then it kept coming down. So once this terminates up here, if I'm scalping, by the way, I almost always take off the majority of my position at the 1618. And if it reverses hard before getting there and I happen to be in a long scalp from over here, I'm taking the gains. And I'm actually already taking gains. I like to have multiple positions so I can take gains quickly on 20 or 30 pips right away. Let the rest run. If I see the 1618, I'm taking off at least half of what remains. And then I'm going to trail my stop, or rather, I should say, raise my stop so I don't give too many gains back. But the idea is I'm looking for 5 up. This could have been a wave 3, but when it retraced, it lost it and it came down too far. So I'm now thinking, well, what in the heck is this wave? Well, maybe this is an A and this is a B. And there's another A, B, C inside of this. Maybe it goes like this. Watch this. So we know this is 3 up. We know it's 3 up because it didn't measure 5 up. And maybe this A, B, C. So this must be ABC for an A wave down here. So this could be 3 down for an A wave. This could be 3 up for a B wave. In which case you'd be looking for another A, B, C. Or you could have a larger A, B, C. Are you with me? You see how this is moving in 3s. It's moving in 3. It's not moving in 5 wave structures. And the only 5 wave structure you could argue is inside of C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I didn't label it because I don't want to make the chart all messy and crazy, but I'm going to do this for your educational purposes. A C wave is almost always composed of 5 waves. And the rules for those 5 waves that'll be inside of the C wave are the same rules as I just showed you on the larger degree structure. So this is a nano, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So inside of a C wave, you should see 5 waves. And actually, I already can tell from looking at this, this is not 5 waves. And we know this is not 5 waves. And then it clearly is moved in threes again, 1, 2, 3. So once I start feeling that this is moving in threes, watch this. Remember how we measured for the wave 3 using these yellow fibs, right? Well, we can just practice measuring again. So if this is the low, now we already labeled this A, B is 27,565. So drag this over. Oh, sorry, still got that measurement on there. So watch this. We're going to just click on it. We're going to go to my template for an A equals C with the extension. It really extended A, B, C. So it's a combination. We use fibs and structure of price. So in this case, all right, 2783, 2783. So in this case, the C wave extended above what is considered Elliott wave norms. Okay, it extended. So what? So what are you going to do? Well, this is where you should see a 5 wave move, because if it's a C wave, it should be composed of 5 waves. We have 5 waves that follow the rules of Elliott wave. This wave 4 does not encroach upon the price territory of wave 1. So this is a legitimate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know I measured for this, and I could measure for this, which is you'd put the swing low at the bottom of the B wave, put 3 clicks, right? 1 click, click at the top of wave 1, click at the bottom of wave 2, and see where this fits in those fibs. But what I can tell you is on the nano level, it is much less reliable. So it's a combination of where does the C wave terminate? Is the structure a 5 wave move, which is what you want to see in a C wave? And then how does the actual internal structure of this 5 wave move measure if you use the fib projection tool, using the 3 clicks to measure for a 5 wave move? Now, look, I know I'm talking a lot. I'm actually teaching. I'm showing you the analysis, but I'm teaching you how to do this. So you can go back and slow it down, pause the video, get out your notebook, write these things down, or better yet, open your trading program, your broker program, your platform, and make these measurements on silver. Duplicate my work, copy it. That's how I learned. All right, so now what we're looking at is a potential. Now, I didn't talk about this yet, but we're looking at a larger ABC. Why? Well, this entire move up to this 5th wave, right, which I'm viewing as the top of a new wave 1. We want to see a 3-wave correction that typically targets anywhere from the 382 to the 618 or even beyond. So I put this gray area on my chart with the 382 and the 618. And what I know, because I'm an experienced Elliott wave guy, and you will now know this too, is A waves of a wave 2 correction typically target the 382. And it's going to move in threes a great majority of the time. Can an A wave be a 5 wave move? Yes. Sorry. Yeah, I know you want rules and hard and fast things that allow you to predict the future, but that's not going to happen. What you are going to get is to learn how to make your own parameters from which you can make good trade and risk management decisions. Let me repeat that. What you're going to get from your Elliott wave education is you're going to get an appreciation for parameters that are going to allow you to better define your risk and see how that risk management fits into your trade plan. All right, back to the chart. So because I know A waves often target the 382, this is a 3-wave move right into the 382. I mean, that's perfection. So what that makes me want to do is take out my fib tool and measure again using the same measurement I've already showed you 3 times in this video. 1 click at the top of the swing high, 1 click at the swing low where I think an A wave might be. Now I skipped over this part, but the next swing high is going to be my B wave, and maybe I don't know that at the time. but this is what I do all day long is I measure this stuff. So what is that? 28.17.5, 28.17.5. So why isn't that moving over? Oh, geez. 28.17.5. So I moved this. Oh, it's grabbing the wrong thing. Damn it. It's grabbing the labels, not the measurement tool. Pardon the interruption. So let me just get these labels up and out of here. I'm going to change the degree of this new wave structure that I'm putting on here. And I lost my fib tool. So what I'm going to grab is this fib tool that gives me 3 clicks. First click, put the magnet back on. First click, swing high. Second click, where I think the A wave might be, which is at the 3A2 of the larger structure. B wave top, 28.17.5. 28.17.5. Let's just put this way over here to get it out of the way. Boom. Look at this. Came right down. There's only wicks below the 1382. I'm going to drag this over 27.51 just because I like to keep my chart fairly neat. And this came right down into there. But you know what? This wasn't enough for me just to have the yellow fibs of projecting where might this terminate. Well, I was talking about this zone down here. That's why I put that buy box down here. As soon as I saw this wick, and this was news related. Now, look, this is another great moment. I know this video is long, but I'm giving you some value here, teaching. Elliott wave does not care about fundamentals. Elliott wave analysts do not care about your emotions and your biases. Elliott wave analysts do not care about news items. Now, I'm going to clarify those kind of maybe provocative statements that I just made by saying Elliott wave analysts acknowledge that news can act as a catalyst to move price along in its journey between whatever fibs it's between at the moment the news item hits the wire. So we are not like ostriches and burying our heads in the sand, but we are not trying to anticipate what the price action is going to do based on news. We acknowledge that news can be a catalyst. We acknowledge that the market participants' understanding of fundamentals can be a catalyst, but we do not care about that. And very important. And I'm about to demonstrate it for you right here. Price comes up, news, whatever. I'm aware news was happening at this moment. So I already had sell orders up here because I was already short and taking some heat on this bounce. And that spike just filled my short orders. And then when it came back down here, I mean, I sweated a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I was sweating a bit because I don't like to stop out. I don't like to be short. I hate to be short metals. I'm very rarely shorting metals. The way this played out, I'm just looking at the fibs. So now in hindsight, yeah, that's a B wave. It was a B wave before it happened. These fibs are remarkable. The Elliott wave methodology is remarkable. So if you know how to do it properly. The reason it has a bad name is it's very difficult. It's very complex. You got to be able to think of 3 or 4 or 5 different things at the same time. That's what people can't handle because it's too hard. They don't want to put in the work. If you think you're going to study Elliott wave or watch one video and get it, it's not going to happen. It's worth the effort. My mission is to try to make it as simple as I can and teach it directly and simply. That's what my mission is. So now that I know if this is a B wave, I know a C wave should be composed of 5 waves. And because I clocked this as an A, B, and I used a Fibonacci tool, let me change the degree on that. It's bugging me. It really probably should be 1 degree higher. Because I'm expecting a B wave, a C wave, I'm looking for it to be composed of 5 waves. You see how repetitive I'm being? I'm just measuring the same stuff over and over again because I understand the basics. And that's what I'm trying to teach you is the basics. Because once you understand the basics, this complicated methodology, you're going to go, oh, it's not really that complicated, especially if you break it into chunks and just take it one thing at a time. So I began to measure. Once I had this swing low and I saw this swing high, that's when I put this fib tool on there. Same fib projection tool, nothing new. One click at the top of the swing high, one click at the swing low, third click at the swing high, comes in at 28.35. I'm going to drag it over. Actually, I got to turn off the magnet because I can't drag it over now. 28.35 is the third click of my tool. Rewind the video, go back, put your own fib tool exactly as I've done it. Now I'm going to go select my template that is called pinball, standard pinball. Where did this wick terminate? I didn't talk about that much. I'm sorry. I'm assuming you know some things. A 5-wave structure in Elliott wave. Wave 3 typically targets the 1618 level, and a 5th wave very frequently targets the 200 fib. And what it really means is the total length of this wave 1, the total length of this wave 1 is very often wave 5. The termination point is 200% the length of this initial wave 1. That's what the 200 fib is saying, because you've already put a click at the high and the low. And then the third click is where the 200, these fibs down here are projections based on the initial length of the first swing low. Swing high, swing low, that distance is then the percentage of this distance is now projected from the next swing high. I know that's a mouthful. You might want to rewind this. The more you play around with these fibs, the more you're going to understand. It is remarkable to me that the price came down here and tagged the 200 fib with a wick. And then immediately, this is the kind of reaction I like to see for a swing low. Okay. So now what we do, and I'm going to bring you up to current events. I'm going to take the same fib projection tool, turn on the magnet. I'm going to do what I just was explaining to you. We just did it in reverse on the way down. So if this is the low, which remember caught the 200 fib, and it's also right in this box between the 50% and the 618, and it also just exceeded the yellow 1382, which we know is a reasonable target for a C wave extension. So we got what looks like 5. I just measured it 5 waves, right? Let's put the labels on here because I just measured it. So let's just do this right. So you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't talk about it, but this wave 4 measures perfectly inside of the box for a wave 4, which typically terminates anywhere from the 236 to the 50% level, but it cannot encroach upon the bottom of wave 1. But actually, I see I put that in the wrong place. This is actually there. So, and guess what? Price got contained in the blue box because you measure wave 4 from the top of wave 2 to the bottom of wave 3, and that bounce should not get much beyond the 50%, and it definitely cannot encroach upon the level of wave 1, which is why I put it and dragged it across as a visual reminder. I do not want to see this wave 4 encroach upon the price territory of wave 1. And it didn't. It reversed in the box. And then it gave up another 5-wave structure, which you can't see on this chart because I'm not granular enough. Trust me, this is 5 waves inside of this 5th wave because waves 1, 3, and 5 are composed of 5 waves, and they follow the same rules. There are exceptions. I'm keeping it simple for this video, believe it or not. So 5 waves down, boom. So now we can see this was 5 waves. It adheres to the rules. It measured properly. It's bouncing. So I might have a 1, 2. So the next thing I do is grab my fib tool with the one with 3 clicks, the fib extension tool. Click number 1 on the bottom. Click number 2 on the swing high. Click number 3 on the next swing low. drag it over, turn off the magnet before you drag it over, 27.30. At first glance, ooh, Brad, look, it's exciting. It went right to the 200 fib. It must be 5 up. I don't see a fourth wave in here. So what I'm saying to myself is, well, guess what? Wave 3 can extend. Wave 3 can extend. Wave 3 is usually the most powerful wave in a 5-wave structure. There are exceptions to that, but for right now, as a beginner, wave 3, think of it as the longest, most powerful wave of a structure, and it can extend. What I like about it is it extended to the next fib up in a typical Fibonacci impulse series, which is as I've got it here. If you want to copy these fibs and call it standard pinball, you've got the 0 fib, the 100 fib, the 1618 fib, and the 200 fib. So what I'm going to do now is measure for wave 4. Important point to mention this. Trading is repetitive. If you're trading Armando's method, once you learn his method, you're just trading. You watch Armando's videos. Go watch Armando's videos. If you're watching this from YouTube and you're not inside of his club, fine. Go watch his videos, The Professor Trades. Watch a bunch of them. He is showing you the same thing over and over again because trading is repetitive, especially once you figure it out. You figure out what works. You're doing the same thing over and over again. I am in here every day measuring these same things over and over again. Of course, there's a lot more that I measure I'm not talking about right now, but I'm keeping it simple because right now we're only dealing with 3-wave moves, ABCs, and 5-wave impulses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The impulses show up in a C wave. The overall structure is 3 waves, ABC. The holy grail, what I'm looking for is finally a 5-wave structure that is not a C wave. That's what I'm looking for. So this came up in 3 waves. So I'm going to measure for wave 4. Now, I've already showed you how to measure for wave 4. You go to the bottom of wave 2, turn the magnet back on. Go to the bottom of wave 2, click once. Go to the top of wave 3, whatever the swing high is. That happens to be 27,655. Drag it over, 27,655, because I want to see where does price bottom out in relation to my standard fibs for wave 4. Look at that, right between the 236 and the 382. I exceeded the 382, but it's in the blue box for a wave 4. Did it encroach upon the price territory of wave 1? No, it didn't. So guess what? Now we are at current events. I do not have a 5-wave structure in silver yet. So here's what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to add a fib. When you want to add a fib, there are a few that can be reasonable for an extension. What I want to see to complete this 5-wave move up, I do not want to see it get below this wave 4. Although if it does, that's fine. This could be an A wave. This could be a B wave. It's going to come down one more time. That's fine for wave 4. But it cannot encroach upon 2740. Must hold 2740. Ideally, what happens tonight is price gives us a 5th wave to at least 2772 before it makes a new low right here at just call it 2750. So, and what I want to see happen is I want to see a 5-wave completed 5-wave structure. Something like this would be awesome. I also happen to know that the 216 on the lower nano scale is a common target for a 5th wave. You can see that I ended up intuitively putting that right where the 2618 is. That'll start happening to you after a while. You just know your fibs. You know what you're looking at. I like to drag this over to try to keep my charts clean. 27,405. I like to keep it right at the top of wave 3 as a reminder. So if that's wave 3, it's possible this is already wave 4, and it's possible we are already in our 5th wave. So if that happens, we get 5 up, we're going to get 3 down. I'll measure for that later, but that is not going to make a new low, and I don't think it's even going to get into this price territory near 2730. So the buy box I've already loaded up. on longs. I'm already long. This is a swing trade attempt. So I'm going to keep it long, and I got to go look at my bases because I didn't even look at it. I just know my orders got filled, and I know I'm already green, but I don't know exactly what my basis is because I bought on the way down, and I have a full-size position for me. So what I want to see is a completion of 5 up and a 3-wave retrace that doesn't exceed much beyond the 618 to 764. I will measure, and if you're in the club, you're going to know because I'm always posting this stuff in the club. If you're not in the club, the best thing you can do is make your own measurements and just follow along with yourself. Do your own Elliott wave measurements. See, on the larger structure, this is the zone for where wave 2 should terminate, and it did. So on the lower degree structure, it's the same game. 5 up. Once this tops, take your fib tool, the 2-click fib tool called fib retracement. Put 1 click at this low. In fact, here, I'll do you a favor. I'm going to turn the magnet back on because I want to get it right on the low. And wherever this terminates for, now I'm just going to drag it over because I don't know how long this is going to take. I mean, I could guess at how long it's going to take. So let's just say it takes until, deep into the Asia session, right as the Euro session is about to kick in force. Okay. So that's the swing low. That's the swing high, just speculating, putting the swing high at the 2618, which isn't unreasonable to do that. And then now I'm going to open another template called Gray Fib 618 to 886. This is the zone. If this completes 5 up, if I'm speculating now, if this comes up wherever this tops out at, you adjust this tool wherever the next high occurs, as long as the next high happens before you make a new low. Any high up in this region without making a new low first is going to be 5 up. That's how close we are. And then you want to see a 3-wave pullback that comes down somewhere into this zone. So wherever it tops, I'll use the magnet again to get exactly right, but then I'll turn off the magnet and move this over, because wouldn't it be wild if price comes down into the morning session and bottoms in the morning. Now I'm going to get rid of these yellow fibs because they don't serve us any purpose anymore. I'm going to leave these here just for reference. I'm going to leave this here knowing I need to move it. This is speculation. So that's what we want to see. Okay. There you go. So now, okay, last thing. Let me zoom out. It's going to look really crazy when I flip to like the 1 hour chart because all my homework that I was just showing you is going to be all jammed up. The reason silver traders are very excited is, remember everything I just taught you. For a 1-2, you want to have a swing low, a swing high, and then the swing low. Well, guess what? If that is the case, if we just got a large 1-2, the 1618 of that is $29.93, over $2.30 higher than where we are now. Do you realize how much money that is in silver, in futures? $2.30. So that is what all the hubbub is about trying to find this bottom and find this low. Because if this is the case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And guess what? That's just 5. That's a giant wave 1 of another much larger structure. So we are going much, much higher in the metals complex, including gold, silver, platinum, other metals that I don't follow that closely. But that is why I'm spending the amount of time teaching you guys about silver and doing videos on silver, because the risk reward is fantastic, which is why I am in a larger position than I normally am. Okay, now here's the cold water. Here's the reality. I do not know what the future holds, but I know what my parameters are. This is only 3 up right now. Do not want to see this make a new low. Is it the end of the world if it makes a new low? Not necessarily, but if it comes down here and makes a new low below 2704, I'm out of my longs, eating the dirt, and it's over. So parameters. I'm excited. This has followed through very nicely to the parameters that allow for this to be a bottom of a wave 2 of a larger degree. All of the substructure measures, I just showed you that. This is real deal Elliott wave stuff right here. If it's wrong, it just means I'm wrong. It's something else. I have to go back. It really, I already know what it would be. It would be this is an A wave getting another B wave because it needs a deeper wave 2. Deeper wave 2, which honestly could come all the way down here and get below 27, wah, wah, and come all the way down here and retest 2650 again. Don't want to see that. It could happen. It could happen. So there you go. All right. So, and bonus, I'm out of time, but bonus, gold is in a different place in the count, but gold is looking for a wave 4, A, B, C. Possible ABC for A, just gives you a larger A. Where did that come? It only came to the 236. You got a B wave bounce, 5 wave move down for a C wave. Could be wave 4. Has it encroached upon the top of wave 1? No. This is the top of wave 1. This is looking like a wave 4, and we'll get one more shove up for a wave 5. If that plays out, it's the same game in gold. This is crazy bullish because of where it projects into the future. If this can finally create a 5-wave structure as an impulse, then look for the 3-wave correction using the fibs. Use your tools. Use these skills that I'm teaching you to hunt and fish for yourself. All right. That's it. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. Please, silver and gold. Wouldn't it be great if they hold their lows and fill out a 5 up, 3 down? We'll just keep playing the same game, but now you can let your runner run. In silver, if you're in long, if you're not in long yet, wait for this 5-wave nanostructure to complete. Wait for a 3-wave correction. Layer in using the smallest position you can use, layer into them. Buy one at the 382, buy one at the 50%, buy one at the 618. Stay small. And then if this is true, my count is true, you will not have to touch those positions for potentially weeks and months. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to get these updates. Come join us in the Professor Trades Club, the Professor Trades. The link is in the show notes here. The link is also scrolling across the bottom of my screen. Ask me questions about Elliott Wave. If you comment with a question, I will answer you. Thanks for watching. Please, if you like this, if you're getting value, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the club. Take care. Bye-bye.